Hey folks, welcome to First Coast Living. I'm Hattie D. Jamal, and we got a great show lined up for you today. Now, I don't know about you, but one class I didn't take in school was Holiday Budgeting 101. Don't worry though, if you need a little help with that, we're speaking with an expert today and an author of the best-selling book, Financial Freedom, Grant Sabatier, and he's here to tell us how we can take advantage of that this season. Now, Grant, before we dive in, let's start off by talking about your book a little bit. What inspired you to write it?
So the book follows my journey from being unemployed at the age of 24 and living with my parents to reaching financial independence and having over $1.25 million saved at the age of 30. So it follows that 5-year journey where I changed my relationship with money. It's about everything I learned about money, how to make it, save it, grow it. It follows my journey launching 2 different companies and starting a side hustle and everything I learned about that and how to invest really from the ground up in stocks, bonds, and real estate. And it's an end-to-end strategy that anyone can use no matter where you're at in your own financial life to help reach financial independence faster and, more importantly, have more time and space and freedom in your life to do the things that you love.
That is absolutely incredible. I think that's a true testament to what can happen when you do change your relationship with money. So that's why you're here to help us out a little bit. So let's talk about how consumers can help, or how you can help consumers save this holiday season. What tips or advice would you have to offer them?
Yeah, so we live in a time, thankfully, where it's never been easier in history to comparison shop. We've all started to become master Googlers and looking for the best deal. So just spending an extra 5 or 10 minutes on any purchase that you're looking to make can add up to substantial savings these days. There are incredible online extensions that you can use. And of course, you can just use Google and other comparison shopping sites as well. But I encourage you to look for savings not only in buying gifts for others, but also in your everyday life. So now at the end of the year, it's a perfect time to look at your recurring expenses over the past 12 months, the expenses that you're spending every month, and set yourself up for success in 2021. Because it's those expenses like our cable bills and our newspaper subscriptions and magazine subscriptions and even gym memberships that we often don't use nearly as much as we think. And especially when it comes to online subscriptions, we often sign up for them and might forget to cancel. And one area where I encourage everyone to look for savings is just in your cell phone bill. So just like it's never been easier in history to comparison shop, today there are incredible, affordable, no contract wireless providers that have unlimited talk and text. Providers like Total Wireless, where for the average family of 4, you can save over $1,200 a year, and that's totally worth the 15 to 20 minutes it takes to find a better deal at a place like TotalWireless.com or any other provider. And that savings is not only for the next year; it can add up over the next 5 to 10 years and give you more options in your life.
That is great advice there, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You can definitely get nickeled and dimed to death with all those subscriptions you forget about, and they can definitely accumulate. So can you share some advice on how consumers might be able to avoid overspending this holiday season or even throughout the year?
Yeah, so I often recommend just being mindful about your money. So as I mentioned, it's important to build a relationship with money. Think of it as a friend that you need to get to know. So the more time you spend with your money, whether it's looking at your expenses or thinking about your investments, at first that can create a lot of anxiety or even some stress. But the more time you spend with your money, the easier it gets to manage. And so I encourage you to look at your expenses not only through that lens of how much did I spend, but asking yourself, how much joy did this bring me? Did it make my life better? Was it worth it? And then start managing your finances to optimize your happiness as opposed to just your pocketbook. Because at the end of the day, money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love. So you should be spending on those things that bring you happiness and make your life richer, and cutting back on all those things that don't. And so a lot of those recurring expenses, like your cell phone bill, there are incredible providers out there. They all offer really great service. And so why pay, $1,200 more for a service that's just like one where you could get a lot more savings. And so being mindful about that spending gives you more options and more freedom in your life. And then over time, it gets even easier because when you look to spend money, making those trade-offs around what makes you happy and what doesn't makes it easier to manage your money.
Absolutely. I think my dad said something along those lines to me once, which is make your budget fit your lifestyle instead of making your lifestyle fit your budget. So I think that is great advice there. Do you have any recommendations on how you can set yourself up for financial success, which is something you've obviously done for yourself?
Yeah. Number one, to your point, focus on the life piece first. Think about what kind of life you want to live, and then figure out how much money that's going to cost and be intentional about building that. Money is one of those things that we often don't think about or we outsource to someone else, but there are few things that can give us as much freedom as having, 6 months of expenses or a year of expenses in the bank. And it's one of those things that adds up and really does compound over time. So investing early, often, and as much as you can, as early as you can, that ends up having massive gains over time, and your future self will thank you. And I always like to say that saving is an opportunity, it's not a sacrifice, because it does give you the freedom to do the things that you want to do, to help the people that you want to help. And while it might be a little difficult at first, it certainly gets easier over time. So just stick with it. Use money to build a life that you love. Figure out why you want to save more money or you want more money in the first place, and then get going with it. And last but not least, make sure that you're tracking everything. So there's a number of great tools out there and free apps that you can use to track your net worth, track how much money you're saving, and optimize your financial life moving forward. You don't have to do it all with a spreadsheet, or a Google Doc. There's a lot of great tools out there that you should check out and utilize, because they're going to help you see savings and opportunity areas that you wouldn't see normally on your own.
Great information here, very informative. I think our viewers will definitely benefit from all of this. Can you tell them where they can go to learn more?
Yeah, to learn more about these personal finance tips, how to grow, save, invest your money, check out my own website, millennialmoney.com. And to cut back on something like your cell phone bill, check out a website like totalwireless.com just to do a comparison with your current plan.
You can always find this segment and more on our website at firstcoastliving.net.